Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us.
What's good, y'all? DrizzyxSensei here. And we're going to get straight into it today because this chapter had a lot of juicy moments in it that I really want to talk about more in depth. So we're going to try to breeze over the little smaller, insignificant things. Not insignificant, but smaller, lesser things that didn't really interest me that much in this chapter. And then we'll get into the things that I'm going to talk about in a little more depth. So let's get right to it, man. So off rip on the cover page, Blackbeard brushes his teeth with the hippo is the funniest thing ever, and it's not because it's a hippo brushing his teeth, it's because it's Blackbeard brushing his teeth. I just never assumed that this man did anything related to his mouth, except for probably smoke cigarettes or something, because look at his teeth. There's no way. But let's keep moving, man. Let's keep moving. Alright, so the beginning of this chapter was so-so to me. We got what basically happens is the baboon from the beginning of Wano ends up squaring up and facing off against page 1. And I think it's kind of mad because it's the reveal that the Toby Ropo got, right? At first, we seen their feet, just their ankles at first, and we were so interested. It's like, who is that? Oh, this person got a sword. Is that who Zoro going to be fighting? And then we got the reveal. Then it was who's who, and we were trying to speculate which Straw Hat is going to fight which. And then fast forward here, and the Toby Ropo is fighting a baboon. I just think it's to me right now. And I'm sure Oda will pick it up, but hey, we'll see. Okay. So this part in the chapter with Yamato and Frankie coming in was very interesting. First you see, before Frankie even comes in, you see Yamato take on this series of attacks from the members of, I forget, the Armored Division or something like that. This is Sasuke's gang, whatever, his group, they're the Armored Division or whatever. We see her take attacks from a bunch of guys. They set up these riot shields and they just fire a bunch of attacks, whether it was guns or explosions, cannons, whatever it was, they fired at her, and she takes it on. And you see this interesting, and I think this thing has been hinted at throughout the arc, because we've seen Shinobu do this before, where she's willing to sacrifice not only other people, but herself, if it means it's for the greater good of Wano. Because you remember, she was talking to Law about sacrificing his crew members, exiting off his crew members because they got captured, and she was afraid that he was possibly, some of his crew members was possibly rats, right? And now you see her saying, just sacrifice me, I'll die if it means protecting Lord Momonosuke. And Yamato comes back yelling, Odin would never do that. So why the hell would I do that? And I just think that resonates with me because, first of all, Shinobu is kind of, I don't like Shinobu really. I don't like her character like that. And I think we're starting to see that there's this whole thing about the samurai way. But the samurai way we're starting to see is not 100%. It's the samurai way that is a pirate way, right? And Luffy's pirate captain way doesn't coincide with the samurai way, where they can just keep going because they have a goal and they know that people are going to be sacrificed. You even see now Luffy and has Sanji and Jinbei with him to keep him tame, because they know Luffy will go and try to fight whoever he sees if it means he can help the next man. It's just interesting mindsets and contrasting mindsets that we're seeing between Luffy and a samurai, even though the samurai has been shown to admire the way Luffy carries himself.
Hey, future Drizzy here. I forgot to bring up the little small panel that I think is very easy to miss in this chapter, but there's a panel and it shows Yamato teeth, and her teeth grows and sharpens. And at first I thought it was a panel of Sasaki's, I keep saying Sasuke's teeth, but then I realized that it was different. And when I read it back, I had noticed this, and I'm like, well, does Yamato has a devil fruit? You know what I mean? That's the one possibility that I think everyone would come up with after seeing that panel. But then, of course, she was interrupted. But we still haven't got confirmation that Kaido even has a devil fruit. We just know that he can transform into a dragon. But we don't know if that's due to a devil fruit or not. And now that Yamato has been shown that she can, at the very least, change her teeth, from what we've seen, has some sort of transformation. She either have a devil fruit or she has some genetics passed down to her from Kaido.
Frankie comes in and he's running from Hacho, who I personally had forgot that was even. I forgot Hacho was even around. But Hacho comes in, he does this attack, it causes some collateral damage, and it ends up creating a hole in the floor. And Yamato decides that she is going to escape away with Momonosuke and Shinobu, and she tells Frankie that, because Frankie is unaware of who Yamato is at this moment, she tells Frankie that Luffy has tasked her with protecting Momonosuke and Shinobu, and I want you to take care of this. And Frankie like, that's cool. But before Yamato leaves, she leaves off with a gift. Nari, Kabora, arrow. And she swings her club, and I guess she built up hockey on her club, and it creates like this, I guess it's an airwave, but in this it almost looks like a beam, and it hits Hacho right in the chin, and you can tell it does damage because you can see blood coming out the mouth of Hacho and all that. It's a very powerful attack, and it's a very interesting attack with Yamato having long-range base attacks with that club. It shows how formidable she is. But now we transition to the second basement floor. And yes, the second basement floor is interesting to me, and I'm going to get into why that is later. The people of D is the first thing we see when we go there, and Law basically is down there, and he encounters a poneglyph, and it goes to a flashback of Law. I guess it was in Zou. It looks like that's what the background looked with the ruins and all that after Zou was destroyed by Jack and all that. That's what it looks like, and he's having a conversation, and we see that Robin and Law are both interested in the poneglyphs, and it talks about specifically the red stones will be able to solve that problem for them. And Law, what he encountered down there was the blue stones. But let's keep. I just think it's interesting that Law is in the basement right now. We gonna get more into that. And then we transition to Kid and Killer, and they're on the third floor, and we see that Kid is gathering as much scraps of metal as he can. And the first thing I thought of when I saw he was doing this is like, is he going to create like a mech on some Code Geass shit or something? Like, is that what Kid Ray do? I just think it would be, it would be tight. So that's happening, and Kid is on his way to Kaido. It's expressed, right here. He's on his way to Kaido. That is interesting. Let's keep it moving. And then we get a little section with Kaido, and we see Kaido smacks Kinemon across the face with his club, and we see in a panel that also Raizo, Kawamatsu, and you can't really tell everybody that's there, but they're on the ground. And I think Oda just shows this to show that the tide of the battle is kind of swinging right now into Kaido's favor. Like, Kaido has the momentum right now, and I'm not saying it's going to stay that way or anything like that, even though I wouldn't be surprised if it does, but it just shows what's going on in the battle right now. Then we quickly transition out of it, and we get Big Mom, and she's on her way. She expresses that she is on her way to Kaido also. That is very interesting, because what is Big Mom's goal going up to Kaido? You can't tell me it's to go and protect Kaido, because she even said that nobody can beat that monster. She even said to Luffy, you have no shot of beating that thing. You know what I mean? Like, Big Mom is, I'm pretty sure she knows and is confident that Kaido can take care of himself. So that only leaves other reasons outside of that. A possible betrayal is in order. Or she just needs to talk to Kaido about something. But whatever it is, it's not to go up there and protect Kaido, to fight alongside him. I just think that's nonsensical. And then the chapter ends with someone talking about some naughty shit or something like that. It was kind of a weird ending. And you hear stomp, trump, stomp, trump. And I think we might be encountering Black Maria right here. Specifically because the stomp, trump. And I know it's supposed to be in a musical. It got the little musical notes next to it and stuff. But, the naughty. And we seen how Black Maria was with Kaido. And the stomp, trump, it kind of all points to Black Maria. Now that we went through the entire chapter, let me talk about what I really wanted to talk about when I was talking about Law being in the basement is interesting. Big Mom going to Kaido is interesting. Luffy on his way to Kaido is interesting. Kid on his way to Kaido is interesting. First, let's start with Law. Specifically, Law. We see that the other members of the Worst Generation, the leading candidates, I should say, for the next Pirate King from the Worst Generation, Luffy and Kid are both on their way for Kaido. We see Law is going in the opposite direction of Kaido. And I'm pretty sure he knows that Kaido is up there on that skull. So Law's main goal is not to defeat Kaido, from what it looks like to me, like he said back in Punk Hazard. It looked like his main goal is to find out the history, the secrets, the lore. And he even expresses it to his dead friend Kurozan, that he's trying to find out the meaning behind the deed, the meaning behind his checkered fate. And it's just interesting, and it shows, I think Oda's trying to expand on why each, especially these top three, Luffy, Kid, and Law, why they are on this quest. Luffy, we already know, it's adventure, it's fun, and it's freedom. Kid, we don't know his full story, but it also looked like he's going for the notoriety, the fame, the power standpoint. Law is looking for the truth of everything. And I just thought that was interesting. Big Mom on her way to Kaido was interesting, because Luffy and Kid is also on their way up there. And I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that all of them make it up there, because we know Big Mom is still being pursued by Marco. But if Big Mom makes it up there and Luffy and Kid also make it up there, and now we got Big Mom and Kaido with Luffy and Kid, it's just interesting to see how that situation turned out. Still knowing that there's a possibility that Big Mom could betray Kaido. There's also a bit, because we got to remember that also Big Mom's whole reason for even being in Wano and being in Onigashima right now is because she wanted to take down Luffy. So we can also get a dynamic between Kaido and Big Mom debating about who's taking Luffy. We also got the dynamic of Luffy and Kid debating about who's taking on Kaido. Because from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like Luffy wants to team up with anybody. It doesn't look like Kid want to team up with anybody, especially if they're outside of his crew to take down Kaido. So I just think it will be interesting, at least how the beginning of that fight were to begin. And it's just interesting. Big Mom is the X factor here, I believe. On whatever she decides she's going to do, if she makes it up there, it's going to really swing the tide of this battle. Big Mom is the X factor. Other than that, man, I thought this was a very good chapter. I thought this was significantly better than the last chapter. Not to say that the last chapter was bad. It just kind of frustrated me a little bit with the skips. But I had fun reading this chapter. So let me know down in the comment section what you think of the video, what you thought of the chapter. Like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video. Subscribe for more of my content. And as always, man, I'm out this bitch. Peace.